Today we are with Vineeth Narasimhan from Mass 360. Congratulations, Vineeth, first of all, for getting bought out by IBM.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Yeah, so that brings a lot more responsibility on your shoulders right now, because IBM is also huge on the BYOD market right now.
Definitely, yeah. So it brings up a lot more opportunities as well, and we are definitely excited about it.
Wonderful. So let's start with as I understand, Mass 360 is more about the mobile device management, more on the BYOD sector as of today. So let's understand the BYOD sector right now. There is the Android, influence of a lot of mobile devices from Android. There is also Apple, which actually rules the BYOD segment according to reports.
Mm-hmm.
This
and
is
you have
global.
the Windows Phone that is coming in.
And the Windows Phone, which is just now arriving. Of course, there was the BlackBerry, which had a huge stake. What is the scenario right now in India and globally with respect to the percentage of these devices used in the BYOD segment?
So overall, if you look at it in terms of actual percentages, globally Android rules definitely. That's overall, but primarily in the consumer market. In the enterprise market, where users bring in a lot of their devices, so there is both iOS as well as Android, which is ruling the markets. We see a lot of iOS, iPads as well as iPhones and some iPods as well, because a lot of our customers are US centric, and now since we are now a part of the bigger IBM family and we have a lot more focus on Europe and Asia Pac, we have started seeing a lot of Androids, and in Europe specifically now we have started seeing Windows Phone. So just to give you a overall quick breakup, about 60% or so is iOS from an enterprise perspective, about 30% is Android, and 10% of lens is Windows Phone. Specifically, if you break up and see how many companies are encouraging BYOD, about what we'll see is about 50% or 55% or so is already encouraging BYOD and have a lot of BYOD devices, and we see the trend growing year on year. So we have been tracking this information for about 3 years now, since we are a cloud solution, right? One of the advantages we have is this access to this information at an aggregate level, and using that we have seen that this trend of BYOD has started significantly catching up year on year.
Sure. So when you talk about BYOD, you talk about a range of devices, like right from the laptop to an tablet to a phone to any other handhelds that might actually be a part of it. Now, what percentage of these generally are the makeup as of today in the BYD market on a global scale?
So primarily what we have seen is really phones there in BYOD. So laptop BYOD is just kind of catching up, but where we see a lot of traction is people bringing in their own Mac devices in organization, which is primarily Windows from a laptop perspective, desktop perspective, centric on that. People bringing in their own Macs is a big driving factor as well, especially as Macs evolve and you have great new releases of Macs coming in every year. So
wonderful. But BlackBerry was actually, a very huge player in the corporate segment. Do you see that even today as a significant player when you talk about BYOD?
So BlackBerry overall has declined. I think we'll need to accept that. In fact, we don't see much BlackBerry other than legacy implementations of BlackBerry, which we are expected to manage as we look at all the devices. In the consumer space, not really. So I think BlackBerry did try to push its newer BlackBerry 10 platform, which is yet to pick up in the consumer space. So we don't see that, especially from the BYOD, it's really negligible what we see in our end.
All right. So one of the major issues that BYOD has today is security. How does the device management that you see tackle this, considering there was a huge outbreak of virus on the Android platform that was also reported. So because most of the products you say are Android, how do you basically help in managing that?
So BYOD trend has really forced mobile device management solutions to think out of the box and evolve themselves to the next significant enhancement in terms of solutions, right? A standard mobile device management solution would try to literally take control of the entire device. That's how it works. You become a device administrator and you start enforcing all the policies. You have access to all the data on the device, which in a BYOD environment users resist a lot. So they would question, why would a corporate need access to personal applications on the device, know how much of where the user is from a location perspective, right? So they would question all of that. So what mobile device management solutions like MAS 360 has evolved to is really also providing a way, in addition to just doing mobile device management, providing a way for enterprises to just secure their corporate data on the device. So this could be your corporate email, corporate documents on the device, or even corporate applications. So at this point in time, your focus becomes really just corporate. And what you can do is have an additional layer of authentication to access the corporate data. So essentially what it boils down to is a container on the device, which to access that you need a separate password, a corporate password. And once the container is unlocked, all the data, email, calendar, contacts, application, documents can be accessed and used as is required by the user. Simple example is you want to ensure that you cannot copy paste any content from a corporate document to outside the container and maybe accidentally or intentionally send it out, right? And also ensuring you can't forward corporate emails to public email solutions like Gmail. So that's another control which is typically asked for. Documents needs to be viewed only within the container. People cannot take out documents and share it with other users, either on via email or even via other sources like Dropbox. So those are the type of controls that are expected now, and mobile device management solutions are evolving to address these by providing a container solution.
So by a container, you mean basically it's a sandboxed environment?
It's a sandbox environment for all the corporate data.
So this brings me to another very interesting thing that you would have as internal data, which is the consumption of content and the kinds of content by people in corporates today. Now, I also saw that one of the top blacklisted items are actually Dropbox and Box.net and not really WhatsApp actually. So that being the case, just wanted to check what kind of content is basically consumed right now. What kind of content is shared on a very percentage level? Could you break it up for me?
So specifically on content, what we see is the two kinds of usage. One is where the use case is that of training users. So you have lots of content being sent to enable training of users. So there what we see is it's primarily majority is videos. It could be MPEGs or WAV files that has been distributed to users so that they can consume this content, again ensuring security of data. So it's a training video, you don't want to share it with your competition, right? So that's the main one. The other is documents. It could be like sales collaterals, HR guides, pricing sheets. So the other main usage that we see is that of PDF documents primarily. So that is the two. And I would say in terms of number of independent documents that are there, I would say PDFs would be, just in terms of numbers, would be about 80% plus. Videos would be about 15 to 17%, and then there are other document types, images, all of that. So this is just in terms of really where the corporate gives the documents to end users, and users consume the data. The other aspect is just of where this entire industry is evolving to is the content and collaboration industry overall, where you just don't want to consume data, but you want to be able to also share back data into this, right? So you get a document, you want to be able to collaborate with your users, you want to be able to edit it and share it with others, give feedback to the users. Even in case of PDF document, you may want to highlight back, annotate, and give it back to the users, so on and so forth. And that's where we see a growing number of office documents, primarily PPTs. And the other interesting thing that we have seen is that on phone, some of this is obviously a challenge because of the real estate. So on tablets, we are seeing a lot of uptake on the content and collaboration part, where somebody would edit the document and share it with other users.
So what is the percentage, if you take a breakup on the video, training videos, etc. on one side, on the other side, the documents, the reports, and the collaterals that they are, that could be collaborated on, and there on the third segment there is also some bit. I'm sure there's some bit of entertainment media also shared between people of this one, which is more consumer centric, not specifically for this one. So what do you think is the utilize or the breakup of utilization of the bandwidth or utilization of time?
I would say documents are the highest. The videos are more one-time use. Documents are something that we see a lot of repeated usage. So I would say that in terms of time spent, it would be about a majority would be really documents versus videos, which are one-time use.
Okay. So coming to the last question, what is the BYOD segment or the BYOD market in India headed to, and what is the market size that you would see, to be chasing as a, player in this particular segment?
Okay, so it's a very interesting question, right? So I have been kind of talking to customers and tracking this for nearly 3 years now, since mobiles have started making inways into the enterprise. Earlier, it was all corporate provided devices. People and customers used to talk about BYOD, but obviously it used to be, how do I secure data? Right, so that is where the question used to be, if they allow that, and hence they used to say I would be restricting myself to a group of users, elite users, who will get access to email and other content on mobiles, and everybody else they are not. And for these people, they used to provide office provided phones. Now it's changing more and more. It is BYOD now. So I would say we are close to catching up the global trends. We are still not there yet. So if I take, let's say, about last 12 months, in terms of various customers we have spoken to in India, about 25% of them are open to BYOD and have started thinking about, and others are still not. They have to kind of still catch up there. But obviously it will catch with global trends very soon, and it is going to be there. So
is there a number that you can put on the market size of, in terms of revenue or in terms of?
So that would be very difficult because I think the way we look at the market is more in terms of just how many devices we can manage. But the overall market is tremendous, right? So there is reports about Samsung growing leaps and bounds, all the Micromaxes and others also leaping, having a significant increase, and also iOS making a significant impact as well in the market, right? So I don't have an exact number to put there, but it is definitely an exponential growth that we are seeing here.
So I just have a small add-on question on this part. What is the most easiest device for you to integrate on the mobile device management this one as of today?
So the easiest, obviously, I think is iOS. It's because Apple has kind of normalized. There is no variance there. You just have their own variants there. There is no fragmentation. They have provided beautiful APIs for you to integrate with. They are continuously improving year on year, right? Like iOS 7 was a great enhancement for enterprises, and now iOS 8 takes it to the next level in terms of capabilities that are being provided to the enterprise. Android, obviously there is benefits in terms of extensibility, but again there are challenges in terms of fragmentation that needs to be taken care of, and Google has been all along focusing primarily on the consumer market. There are others enterprise friendly OEMs of Android like Samsung who have their own extensions on this, but then obviously that brings in the fragmentation part that has to be taken care from a developer perspective. To way to integrate is the simplest one is iOS, but that is where we have kind of taken the complexity out from a customer perspective. So we integrate with a number of different OEMs even for Android to ensure that we provide at least a basic set of features is common across all these different operating systems. So we kind of abstract out the complexity from the customer. So for us it is difficult, but for the customer, an iOS device, managing an iOS device is very similar to how they manage an Android device. So it is really a transparent for them.
So fine, that brings us to the conclusion of this. With 25% right now actually chasing BYOD, and there is a lot of scope, looking at the global market. And iOS being one of the simplest devices that is going to integrate, it seems a lot more promising as of today, even in India. Thanks a lot, Vineeth. That was great talking to you.